Shock, anger, grief, coming off all of that right now. We know so many of you are sorting through those emotions still, and really just any life tragedy. Sometimes it really is crippling. So here to help is life coach David Essel. I know you've been watching these high schoolers and you're amazed by what they're doing.
I'm absolutely blown away. Never in the history of time have we seen high schoolers be able to move a governor, Rick Scott, to already start to pass bills to alter gun control. Hertz, United, Delta. I mean, they're going off the charts. These corporations are paying attention to high school students.
Now, tell me this. I know you've been in touch with many of those high schoolers, the survivors, one-on-one. You're helping them work through their emotions. Not an easy process.
It's not. Well, you know, the high school brain is not developed yet, and so they can easily compartmentalize, not understand that the shock, the grief, the anger, the rage, the sadness, and the hopelessness that goes on. So through verbal questions and writing exercises, we're able to get the high school students to come out with what they're feeling. And one of the greatest things they can do after they process the anger and the grief and the sadness is to become activists, just like Stoneman Douglas high school kids are doing.
Let's talk about adults, and maybe not so much in relations to Stoneman Douglas, but any type of tragedy. A lot of times adults, we kind of hide the pain. How do you bring that forth and deal with it?
Well, first of all, we look at how do they hide it. If we see ourselves drinking more, overeating, working more, then that means we're trying to avoid the reality of tragedy. So we can sort of be our first counselors if you want to, and look in the mirror and say, you know, I've been avoiding feeling my emotions. I've been avoiding dealing with this grief by eating, overworking, drinking, etc. I need to reach out and get help. And that's where we're offering all of my services absolutely free.
Healing is possible, but everybody has a different timetable.
They do. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that, because some people within 6 weeks or 8 weeks can start this amazing healing process, and others it's a year or two down the road. You know, my very good friend Scarlett Lewis lost her son Jesse.
That was Sandy Hook, right?
Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre. I've worked with Scarlett for the last several years now. She is an amazing person, and even through her grieving process of dealing with the anger and rage, have I been able to help other survivors do the same thing.
So I guess if you were to offer just, there's probably so much advice you could give, but the best tip that you could give somebody who's trying to move forward and deal with these things that are weighing them down.
Well, to deal with the sadness of loss of a classmate or a partner, write letters to them. Write letters about what you remember and how you miss them in order to process the sadness and grief. Put the feelings on paper. You know, if you try to keep them in your brain, they're just going to expand. They're not going to go anywhere. That's tip one. And number two is, if you find yourself irritable, anxious, or maybe even enraged in traffic when you're normally not that type of person, reach out to someone like myself. Ask for help. We can help process these emotions.
Oh, wow, wow. So much to sort through. David, thanks so much. We appreciate your help.
Yes.
All right, Roxanne, John, back over to you guys. All right.